It is Monday, Victory Monday, October 2nd. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Jet Home Loans. And now, a guy who believes fish and chips is a tracking device for your pet minnow, J.P. Shadrick.
And welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour from London, presented by Jet Home Loans in the first hour. We are at the Pavilion Inn Pub on Watling Street, 2 blocks from St. Paul's Cathedral. J.P. Shadrick with Tony Boselli. No Pete Prisco this week. It could be the best happy hour in the history of happy hours. Jeff Lageman is in. That's another reason why it could be one of the best happy hours of all time. And here we are.
I mean, it's a combination of two things, JP.
Yes.
One, I don't have to correct Prisco with his bad takes continuously throughout the show. And second, we have not just one football expert, yours truly, but we got two, because my partner in the booth, Logs, is joining us.
Yeah, huge.
Huge.
Logs, well, thanks for coming in, Logs.
Yeah, sure. And the nice thing is that you guys don't have to use that build-a-blocks underneath the chair.
You're right.
You know?
Sitting on phone books.
Pete, yeah.
That's what he does.
Oh, Pete, we love you. Yeah. I know, listen, it's just too easy to take shots, so we're going to continue to do it, but we still love you.
We got 2 hours of shots to take from somebody who's not here.
Yes.
And that's okay.
It's easy.
We can definitely do that. We're on 1010XL, 92.5 FM in Jacksonville, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, recapping Jaguars 23, Falcons 7 at Wembley under the arch yesterday. Back to basics on offense and a strong defensive effort. 3 takeaways for the Jaguars and the first win in Wembley for the Jags since 2017. And a lot to cover here. Coming off that rough game last week, all 3 phases contributed to that loss. Well, they got back on track. And let's start with the offense. It just felt like, hey, let's get it to Ingram. Let's get it to Christian Kirk. And if Ridley's open down the field, sure. Trevor used his legs some, and it felt just a little more manageable on offense. Back to basics, the guys that you trust at the wide receiver.
And let's take a step back. I mean, look at the overall thing. The goal was to win.
Yes.
At the end of the day, I mean, after that game in Jacksonville against the Texans, you had to find a way to win a game. You know, back-to-back losses, a lot of bad, negative feelings. I don't think it was probably a fun week at work. Jeff knows what that's like after a loss like that. So you had to find a way to win. And I think I was on the field before the game, and one of the staff members said it best to me. He's like, I don't care if we win by 1 point. You just have to get the taste of losing out of your mouth. Now, was it great? No. I thought the defense was great. I think special teams were solid. We're not asked to do a lot. Offensively, this is 4 weeks in a row, though. I'm not sure what our identity is. Still clunky, trying to figure things out. But at the end of the day, it's and Jeff, it's better to figure those things out after a win than after a loss.
Well, in offense, 16 points? I mean, because you can't count
Pick 6.
the interception by Darius Williams. And
Well, one of those, and 3 of those were point-blank range, where you had a field goal.
Scoring opportunities.
You took the ball over.
And the good thing is, though, is that you got to win. And most importantly, you started, I don't want to say fast, but you started without any mistakes. And I think that allowed them to build some positive momentum in that ball game. And the defense got back on track in a big way, and it helps that you're facing an offense in the Falcons that doesn't have a lot of great speed. They've got a great back, but an inexperienced quarterback. And I thought the Jaguars did a wonderful job on defense. But, here's the thing. As good as they did on defense, they still left some plays out there. And some of the performances on defense weren't where you'd want to have them. So, I mean, if you're going to have a game where you win and then you have all these coachable areas and coachable points, I think you got a lot of coachable points both for the offense and for the defense and for special teams.
It was interesting, guys. I was on, I do my Monday morning breakfast with Boselli.
I've heard of this.
Yes,
Have y'all heard of this? Y'all listen on 1010?
It's a big deal. And the question from Dan and Jeff was, today is like, who are we? Like, are we a bad team? And we're not a bad team. Are we a good team, though, or a great team? Are we in the upper echelon of the AFC like we thought we were coming into the season? I don't think so. But at first quarter of the season, 2-2, but we're still in this, to Jeff's point, like we're still trying to figure out exactly what's our identity. Who can we trust as far as showing up week in and week out? The defense, for the most part, has had 3 positive games out of the 4. Special teams has had 3 positive out of the 4. Offense, still trying to figure out what we are. And so it's an interesting place we find ourselves in. And I think a lot is coming up to this game this week against the Buffalo Bills, who are one of the elite teams in the AFC. They're one of the teams everyone thinks has a chance to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, and everything else. And so this is a big matchup this week in Tottenham, and see where we stand.
Oh, what'd you call it?
Tottenham.
That's not wrong.
Okay.
That's not right.
What is it?
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
Well, he's a wordsmith.
Yeah. I mean, what are we doing?
Tottenham.
No. Tottenham. Thank you. Right.
Tottenham.
Yeah,
there you go.
Of course. Yes.
Okay, Tottenham.
Coach, we got it in 7 minutes into the show.
I don't think
Get it right.
anyone really cares whether it's Tottenham.
Do the British
or
people
Tottenham.
here care? Yes.
Well, in
He
fairness,
doesn't care.
I mean, I love our UK friends here, but they can't say Jaguar.
That's fair.
And so just because I can't say Tottenham, does it really matter?
That's a good point.
What's more important, Jaguar or Tottenham?
Now, who's better at saying Jaguars? Was it Gus Bradley
Right.
or our British fan?
The British people, by far. Because Gus has no excuse.
By the way, I just got a text from Pete. He just said something about you, Tony.
Oh, shocking.
What did he say?
He said you need to learn how to pronounce Tottenham.
Good idea. Way to go, Pete. Jaguars Happy Hour on Tintin XL, Jaguars YouTube, and Jaguars.com. Glad you're with us. We are at the Pavilion Inn Pub on Watling Street in central London, just a couple blocks away from St. Paul's Cathedral. The walk-up's unbelievable. Came up out of the underground, and you come up, and there's the dome right down the one-lane street right out in front of this place. Really
It's
cool.
great. This is a cool place. Coming up here, there's so many cool places in London, though. And the pubs are some of the coolest places,
Hey,
I think.
are y'all drinking milkshakes, by the way?
Oh,
What's
just a
in
little
there?
water. Stay
That
hydrated.
looks like a milkshake.
That is
not-
ice-cold beer.
Oh.
Now, here's the beauty of doing the show here, right? It's trains and automobiles that we don't drive. I can have all the beers I want. This is Victory Monday.
Well,
I'm drinking.
I said it after the game.
Mine's full of water.
water.
Jim.
He's staying hydrated. Tony's hydration.
Hydration.
Logs does not matter.
I'm not
Okay,
going
it
to
doesn't
lie.
matter.
I got water on the outside of my frosty mug.
Frosty mug, yes.
All right. So let's touch a little more on this defense. And, boy, you talked about next week. I mean, that Bills offense, I mean, Josh Allen for the Bills put up a perfect passer rating yesterday and was incredible. 5 total touchdowns. That's the next test ahead. Is this – well, they were pretty good against Kansas City as well. This Jags defense was. So how do they match up just initially in your mind against Buffalo?
Well, I mean, this is the best offense will have faced. This Buffalo Bills are better than the Chiefs on offense because the Chiefs right now because the Chiefs take away Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You look at this offense for the Chiefs that we face. They have no speed on the outside players. Travis Kelce was a shell of himself when he played us because he's come back after a knee injury.
Still scored a touchdown.
No, I'm just saying, but it wasn't full Travis Kelce. An offensive line that
And we didn't know about Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor wasn't in the building.
That's true. That's
so
very good point.
that changes everything.
Yeah.
Interior of the offensive line,
Which a
the
lot of
Chiefs-
people in Jacksonville disappointed that they didn't make it a little bit sooner, the announcement-wise, than that way.
Yeah, I don't care.
Taylor
Like,
could have been in Jacksonville.
I thought you were a Swiftie.
I couldn't even name one song she sings.
wait a minute. My daughter, okay, was asking me the other day, when do we play Kansas City again?
Yeah, but
Swear to God.
my daughters are smart enough not to ask me those questions because I literally could not tell you one song she sings. And I don't care to know and could care less who Travis Kelce or anyone else is dating.
Back
But
to the Chiefs.
Back to the Chiefs. The Chiefs have a good interior line, tackles, okay. The Bills are talented at the back, talented at the quarterback, really talented at the receiving position, and have a solid offensive line. So this will be the biggest test for our defense because they have Stephon Diggs, they have Gabriel Davis, they have speed outside. And so they're going to have to play their best. But the bigger test, in my mind, this is the best defense that we will face so far. And that's for an offense who has struggled a little bit, finding a rhythm. This Bills defense, Leslie Frazier is not there anymore. Sean McDermott's taken over. They are one of the top as far as statistically in the NFL. They're aggressive. They get after the quarterback. They're good against the run. They shut down one of the best offenses in the NFL in Miami this past Sunday. And so this right here, Jeff, we're going to find out kind of where we are in the pecking order as far as the AFC.
And it's a tough matchup. The Buffalo Bills offense is dynamic, throwing the ball. They have a mobile quarterback. We haven't done well in the past with that. They're not committed to the running game. That's not what they do best. We match up the best with a team like the Atlanta Falcons, okay? Because I know that we got some sacks yesterday, but I don't think that we can consistently apply pressure to opposing quarterbacks the way we'd like. I think that's still a little bit lacking. And as Tony said, this Buffalo defense is for real. They've got players on all three levels, and it's going to be a huge test. And it'll be interesting to see kind of how the fan base is going to be at Tottenham, too, as well. The Jaguars got, kind of an established fan base over here, Buffalo Bills. I'm sure the Buffalo Bills, what do they call them, the Bills Mafia?
They're going to travel.
Do they travel here?
I guarantee
they did last time we played them here.
Right. I guarantee you they'll travel.
That'll be interesting.
I'd rather get them at Tottenham Hotspur than Orchard Park.
Well, that's the big thing. I mean, this is an advantage to Jacksonville.
Should be.
To us. Because where would you rather play the Buffalo Bills?
At home.
Up in Buffalo?
Jacksonville or London?
Well, you're not allowed in Jacksonville. That's not in the bingo card. The bingo card has London or Buffalo. I will choose London because we have an advantage. We're here all week. Guys are going to be acclimated. They're going to be used to the circumstances, the surrounding areas, time change, everything else. Buffalo's coming after a tough game against Miami. Going to have to fly over, get used to the time zones and everything else. So we should have an advantage here. Noise should not be an issue. Weather's not going to be an issue. So I'm glad we're playing them here.
I mean, sometimes in that neutral environment, though, the noise can be at different times, and you just don't know.
But they have to deal with the same thing.
But not a true road game crowd noise issue.
But, JP, they got to deal with the same thing.
That's right.
I mean, Buffalo's going to have the same noise issues that we are.
Yeah.
If you're in Buffalo, you can't hear yourself think if you're the opponent.
No.
That and if this game were in December, it'd be
oh
worse,
my goodness.
You got that right.
No, but Buffalo's a hard place to play.
It is.
And I played a bunch there back during the Jim Kelly K-Gun days when they were rolling. 4 Super Bowls, Marv Levy, Bruce Smith, and that place absolutely rolled.
You know the only time it's easy to play in Buffalo? It's for the 96 Jags. That's it.
That's about it.
That's about it.
Still resting on that one, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Come
this
on.
is the one that got you the gold jacket. So
there's not much Jeff and I can do anymore. So the one thing we can do is reminisce of the old days and make ourselves better than we actually were.
Yeah, and in our days at Polk County High, we were really good.
Very good.
Hey, plenty ahead. We're just getting started. We've got 2 hours of this tonight here in London from the Pavilion Inn Pub on Watling Street. We'll be here Wednesday for Huddle Up as well, 5 o'clock London time. And then Thursday for Happy Hour and the Doug Peterson Show, also 5 o'clock London time. If you want to come down and join us in the basement, should be a fun week ahead. We've got plenty to come. Jags fans want customized Jags furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. ZipChair, furniture for fans. A little more into this offensive performance yesterday under the arch at Wembley when we come back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. It is Victory Monday, October 2nd, and we are at the Pavilion Inn Pub on Watling Street, Central London. JP Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Jeff Lageman in for Pete Prisco. And the Jaguars came away with a win at Wembley yesterday, 23-7 the final score. I've upgraded to Beavertown Neck Oil IPA. I've gone on the desk. You guys enjoying your milkshakes over there?
Milkshake.
Great.
Yep, milkshake.
You got food coming, Tony? What are you looking for?
I'm thinking about it. This is I like this place. I could hang out here quite a bit if I lived here. But yeah, I'm looking at maybe they got some good food here. The wings is really what I want.
We need to see you eat wings,
but wings
on Jaguars.com
might not be the best look for me.
Okay.
So maybe some hummus. We got a little chicken.
I thought you were on a diet.
I am, but, I mean, this is dinner. It's dinner time.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
I heard cheese bread back behind me. That's really good.
That's
I might go
healthy.
with that.
That's good for you, too.
Low-cal cheese.
Low-cal?
Mm-hmm.
We're in Europe. Everything is low-cal.
It's gluten-free.
No preservatives in Europe.
None. They don't use preservatives
No.
over here. That's what's so great
Right.
about it. But where I'm leaning really heavily toward is the sausage board.
Okay.
Little sausage and cheese, maybe some crackers.
We'll see what appears at the desk as the show moves along here. All right, so this Jags offense yesterday, we touched on it briefly, and we're going to get into the offensive line and keeping it real a little bit later.
Yes.
And the future of that group up
Possibilities.
front. Right.
It's going to be interesting.
That's a little bit later. But in general, how did the group up front play yesterday? Shatley was in there at left guard for the first time this season, at least. Did that change anything for you? Logs, let's start with you and then bring back to Tony. What did they look like up front? That's it.
I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, that's probably around a 5, I would say. I mean, acceptable, winnable, good enough.
I actually disagree with you. Jeff, come on. 24 rushes for 63 yards by your backs. Is that winning football?
You won. I mean, you won. And I thought the one thing that they did do was protect the quarterback.
That I agree with.
And that's what I was concerned about the most. And so –
because that is a veteran front seven group for the Falcons.
And I think Shatley helped from the standpoint of in the couple previous games, Ben Barch was getting beat to the point that there was immediate pressure in Trevor's face. And the one thing about Shatley is that, look, he's not a guy that's going to get great movement in the running game, but he doesn't get smoked. Okay, and I'm not saying that Barch gets smoked. I'm saying he got beat a couple times early in the season so far, and Shatley's been a guy that's been dependable as far as he's going to slow a guy down. He's not going to miss assignments. He's always going to be where he needs to be. Now, look, there are times that he can't match up physically with some of those big guys that play down in the trenches, but I thought it was better there. And I think Walker Little continued to play well. I still think there's still there's got to be improvement at the center position and the right guard position and the right tackle position.
Tony Boselli.
I thought the run game was bad. I think it was bad.
What did they finish with?
24 for 64. Take away Trevor's yards because those don't count.
He's not a running back.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think it was 24 for 63, so that's just over 2 yards a carry.
That's correct.
And watching the tape, I didn't watch the whole thing, so because I had some connectivity issues. I watched some of it.
Oh, I thought you were just busy doing London.
I was
things.
not. I was actually real technical issues.
Oh.
I did not think there was anywhere for Travis to go. Now, Jeff can comment on the rest of the game that I missed in a second. But I never, watching it live, I never felt for a second that there were holes that Travis was missing. The film confirmed that. I thought they were better in protection. I thought Trevor had time to operate, do things. Trevor was great with his legs when there was no one open.
Great.
And so I thought the offensive line did better that. I agree with Jeff's assessment that Shatley is more solid, not as big of risk for the immediate getting just beat at the line of scrimmage and nowhere to go type of plays. But this team has to run the ball better. And right now, watching the tape, I don't think they're playing with great leverage.
They don't get a lot of push. And here's the other thing. They had a lot of personnel groupings in this ball game that included Blake Hance at tight end.
Yeah, an extra.
It didn't help.
That's right.
So now you're looking to get better push, right, with 6 offensive linemen, and Tony's dead on.
Did not help.
Blake Hance got beat up a little bit.
There was one play, Calais Campbell stood him up, pushed him back, and made a tackle.
There was two.
There was a couple of them.
There was 2 of those. JP missed one.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I know you're focused on doing play-by-play yesterday for Westwood 1, but you missed that one.
Yeah, I missed that one. But I saw one. That's all I needed to see.
But I think a lot of people were like, oh, wow, that was a great idea, putting Blake Hance in, 6 offensive linemen. It didn't add anything to them. It didn't help them, I don't think, at all.
Yeah. I think the only thing it did for them is change the personnel grouping that the Falcons matched them with.
Yeah.
Really.
Fair.
And so you probably get some personnel, some things you like. And they tried to throw out of it to get one-on-one matchups outside, which I think it's a good game plan. I like what Press was doing there. I think the biggest issue is we do not play with good leverage. A lot of stuff.
Teachable, or they are what they are?
No, it's teachable. I mean, it's a lot of stuff out of the gun. We're not under center very much. I would like to see us under center more, my opinion. I our offensive guards are in 2 points almost all the time. Get a 3-point. Like, let's move some people. Like, let's go downhill. Let's get off the ball. Let's be physical. Let's take it to – and in the offensive design and kind of how we're calling plays and what we're doing now, and I understand a little bit what Press is trying to do. He's trying to play a little bit more horizontal because I don't think he fully trusts the offensive line in a straight drop-back passing situation. I think what Jeff said, Press would probably is in the back of his mind. Are we physical enough to displace people? Obviously, based on how we're calling the game, no. So a lot of it's horizontal, quick passes outside, try to get playmakers in space, horizontal in the run game, see if we can create a seam here or there. But I think we need to play more physical with better leverage up front. I think, and is it possible? Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it.
Got to give some credit to one guy in particular that played for the Atlanta Falcons defense, and I'm not talking about Calais. Jesse Bates.
Oh,
he
safety.
is a good player.
The safety. He came flying in a bunch in that game.
Oh my.
He's a good player now.
I mean, I'm talking that number 3, and going to the game, watching the film on him, you're sitting there going, this guy's really good. And then he brought it to a whole different level in this ball game. I mean, he was an impact in the running game. He was an impact in the passing game. Very impressive guy.
Bates with 8 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, a quarterback hit, and a forced fumble.
Yeah,
that's a heck of a day.
How many pass
no
breakups
joke.
did he have?
He had none officially.
Oh, I thought he had 1 at least.
Yeah, it's not in the book at least.
Yeah.
So he might not have got his true hand on it. But yeah, I mean they've got some guys on that defensive side.
Yeah, but they don't have anybody that's impactful up front.
Yeah, because Calais is older.
Yeah, I mean, Calais.
Grady's older.
Yeah, but still pretty good.
No, but I'm saying they're good players still, but they're not the disruptors that they once were.
Yeah. They're in spots.
Yeah.
Bud Dupree's slowed down a bunch. Yeah. They just don't have any impactful pass rushers or disruptive guys that are up front that are consistent.
That'll be different this week.
I will tell you, though, the other guy that impressed the heck out of me was A.J. Terrell. I mean, you want to talk about one of the more physical corners in the National Football League. He was very impressive. And the Falcons were putting him on Ridley.
Yep.
And it was interesting to watch the early part of that ball game because Calvin was open a couple times. But you could see that you go back to the game against the Houston Texans at home, and Calvin had 2 drops. Calvin had a couple false starts. And you could tell that Trevor didn't quite trust him early in this ball game. And so it took a little while for Trevor to warm up to the idea of throwing it to Agent Zero. And because he was open a couple times now early in that ball game.
Well, are we calling him Agent Zero now? Is that official?
That was new to me.
That's new to me also. Yeah. Are we calling him Agent Zero back here?
Why not?
The crowd likes it.
Yeah.
So we'll go with that.
Sure. I
would say this, and Jeff, you and I talked about it during the broadcast. I thought there was opportunities because I think Press did a good job of getting the front he wanted, the coverage he wanted, and Calvin one-on-one with A.J. Terrell. And until the very end, Trevor did not trust a 50-50 ball with the one-on-one coverage that he had set up.
And the first half 2-minute drill.
Where he could have taken, and I think
twice.
In the third quarter there was opportunity too, where he could have taken a shot to a 50-50 ball. And right now, Trevor's not, for whatever reason.
I don't blame him.
He didn't take. Oh, I'm not being critical of Trevor. I'm just saying, for whatever reason, not speculating what the reason is. And Jeff could be right. Could be Houston after that tough performance that Calvin had. But you get one-on-one with your number 1 receiver.
Take the chance.
I think he's
sometimes.
A few times a game. That's the matchup you want.
That's why he's there, right?
You have a number 1 guy because if you can scheme it up where that guy is one-on-one at their corner, you're going to say we're going.
I think this is a whole nother learning process for Trevor too, because he's never had a number 1 guy at this level, and so he's still got to kind of learn. Okay, how much do I throw the ball his way and make it his way versus letting it kind of come naturally his way. And so I think there's a balance. He's a young quarterback, and sometimes you just have to let the system dictate to where the ball goes. But then at other times you've got to understand that you've got a special talent. And when you have somebody that's like that, like a Calvin Ridley, and I don't want to put him in the same category as Justin Jefferson because Justin Jefferson is kind of at the top. But, when you've got a guy like that, sometimes you got to trust him. And just like Trevor did late in the ball game when he got the pass interference call. But part of that trust is earned, too. And I think that there's an evolution, a process that needs to happen. And it's not only just Trevor, but it's Calvin as well, to show and prove to his teammates and the coaches that, hey, I deserve to get the ball more than others, and even when the system doesn't dictate that.
Sign up your furry friend for the Jaguars official four-legged fan club for pets, presented by Forever Vets Animal Hospital. Your pet will receive access to exclusive merchandise, events, and sweepstakes throughout the 2023 season. Visit jaguars.com/promotions/four-legged fan club and sign up today. Plenty ahead in London at the Pavilion Inn Pub. We're live to a studio audience or a pub audience after a Jaguars win at Wembley over, did we play yesterday? The Atlanta Falcons. 23-7 the final is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. Welcome back to the Pavilion Inn Pub in London. After a Jaguars win in Week 4, it's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. The Hyundai Studios have come into the basement of the Pavilion Inn today, and throughout the week we'll be here Wednesday and Thursday as well. Huddle Up Wednesday, 5 o'clock London time, and then Thursday Happy Hour on the Doug Peterson Show. That's also 5 o'clock London time, live to the crowd here. We'll air it back at 4 o'clock in Jacksonville on Thursday. Here at the Pavilion Inn, we're 2 blocks away from St. Paul's Cathedral on Watling Street. Recapping the Jaguars' win over the Falcons yesterday at Wembley. And, of course, the Jaguars did actually flip around their schedule this week. The players officially had today off. I think they were all invited to the Fulham match tonight down at Craven Cottage. They'll be back to work Tuesday and then on the field Wednesday, Thursday, Friday ahead of the game at Spurs coming up on Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. All right, so Jaguars defense, we touched on that earlier, Logs. And Josh Allen, another 3-sack performance. Yes, it was a 3-sack performance week 1, right? But a couple of those were out of bounds, line of scrimmage, fine. Where does this one, in your mind, rank? True, the sack fumble at the end, that one.
Before we get to that, I got to get some clarity here. So he had 3 sacks week 1, right?
Yes.
Yes, I just said that.
3 sacks yesterday.
I also said that.
Didn't he have a sack in between that he got? I thought he had another sack.
No, you were saying that yesterday, but
no, but he didn't have a tackle at the line of scrimmage of a quarterback in there.
No.
Okay.
No,
I was wrong.
He's got 6 for the year.
Yeah, no, I read that too. I'm like, I swear in one of those other
I just
games.
rode with it in our broadcast. I said, okay, you want to say he's got 4? That sounds great to me.
Say whatever you want, Tony. I mean, you're in the Hall of Fame. You can make up stats now. It's amazing.
I literally thought that for some reason. Thank you very much for clapping to that. People. I really thought for some reason I thought he had a sack in against the Chiefs on the line of scrimmage. Mahomes. No. Okay.
No, he did not.
No, and, look, the sacks that he had.
But answer the question now. You don't have to show me.
I just pulled up the stats on the official NFL stats site.
That's great.
Week by week, and
JP,
3 and 3.
I understand what the stat sites say because I
but-
heard all day on ESPN he had 6 sacks.
I would love for him to have another sack.
I would too. I
I'm
was
sure he would
wondering how my brain missed it. For some reason, I swore he had a sack in Kansas City, but he did not.
He had, and to answer your question, JP, about these sacks, I would say that
one of them, right?
Week 1, they were all effort sacks.
Yes.
And those count. And great effort, and I thought that those that was a really great effort by Josh and great speed.
Agreed.
Great agility and chasing a quarterback down in Indianapolis that had great athletic ability. Now this past game, the first one, the quarterback ran into him, and that's okay. And then the last one, though, was legit. I mean,
great rush.
Against Matthews, got a chop rip.
Who's a good offensive tackle.
Tomahawk chop, about one of the probably top half tackles in the league.
Yes,
Jake Matthews
absolutely.
is.
Yep.
And that was a great job. And he had some really good rushes. I mean, but 2 out of those 3, are the ones that you like to have when you're in a contract year. And because every time, and JP at the end of the year, they don't a lot of times go back and look at them and sit there and go, that one probably wasn't a great pass rush, but he got a sack. At the end of the year, when they add up and they start adding up to a big number, that cash register is just going ka-ching, ka-ching.
I will say this about Josh Allen. I think he's playing very good football. I think he's playing, as far as in the front seven, probably the best quality, consistent, good winning football out of that group.
So he's the best of the front seven, Lux.
Yeah. Right now, I think Oluokan's playing well too.
Yes,
no doubt about it.
Yesterday did.
He's been great.
I think Cisco's playing well.
Cisco had an excellent game yesterday. Excellent game.
I thought Tyson had a good game yesterday too.
He did, solid.
But
not a lot of opportunities, but solid.
But our pass rush is still an issue.
To be honest with you, because I know that a lot of people would ask this question: how's Trayvon playing?
You know what, Logs? How is Trayvon Walker playing?
Good question, JP.
Thanks a lot.
Great
Good question.
Appreciate.
I didn't think he played very well yesterday.
Why?
He got a sack.
He did. I mean, the numbers don't lie. End of the year,
describe the play to me.
They add up.
They do. Go ahead. I was being facetious.
I know.
I would agree with your assessment. The sack he got was he fell into it where Ritter's trying to run when he shouldn't have run. There was no pressure and tried to escape and use his legs to get a first down. And Trayvon happened to be right there.
And it's good timing. I mean, you're in the right place at the right time. You can't fault him for that.
Well,
he had a good
just
play.
so you know, a defensive end should not be on the line of scrimmage on a passing situation.
No. He had a good play, though, on the when Trey Herndon pushed Drake London out of the back of the end zone. Trayvon had good pressure on that one.
Yeah.
But you remember at the beginning of the second half when all of a sudden the Falcons started getting the running back and running game rolling a little bit there with Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, absolutely. First drive, yeah.
Two of those plays where Bijan Robinson gets out, Trayvon's got to be better. I mean, just, he's got the opportunity. It's just figure it out, look at it, and see what the play is and react in a good way, and you minimize those plays to no gain. And he didn't make the plays.
It was one of those, that big field flipping run that Bijan had.
Yeah,
the one kind of run left, hole was right, and there he goes.
They fake the zone one way, and then he plants his foot, and then he turns
ends up
around
being a
and
counter,
it.
basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little counter action, and Trayvon's has got his outside arm free, and all you have to do is just kind of see the play and then come up the field and make it. And he was late, and late diagnosing it, and then late to react, and then just didn't have the speed once Bijan, got around the outside on him.
Well, and I think what I continue to worry about, and I do not want to take anything away from our defensive performance. I thought they did a great job.
They had 3 takeaways.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to take anything away. This is not the day.
They gave up 7 points.
JP, you're making my point. I'm just looking ahead. I mean, the Falcons have no quarterback. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't, we were during a break in the first half when it became 17-0. I looked at Jeff. I'm over. This game's over.
I said in the broadcast, I said if they get a touchdown here, the game's over. And Tony, once we go to break, he goes, the game's already over.
I already said it's over.
Oh, wow. You called it already.
When it was 17-0 and we got the interception, and Jeff said on the air, and I didn't want to say it to jinx us or anything, but in the break, I'm like, Desmond Ridder cannot bring this team back. They are not made to do it. He can't play from the pocket and start slicing and dicing, and they don't have the speed outside.
No speed.
And Kyle Pitts is, and I'll let Jeff dive into Kyle Pitts.
That's totally different.
He's not playing very well.
Jonnu Smith had a bunch of catches.
Jonnu Smith is better than Kyle Pitts
of all things.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're dealing with a different animal this week. Josh Allen down 17 can slice and dice you. Stephon Diggs is one of the best receivers in the NFL. They got talent all over the place in offense, and they score a lot of points. They have a great defense. But sticking on Buffalo's offense, our defense, or Atlanta's offense, our defense, our pass rusher has to get better. Because the challenge we're going to have this week, if you let Josh Allen sit back there, he will pick you apart. You said it, JP. He had a perfect passer rating.
Perfect
Against a good a defense for the Dolphins has been pretty good this year. And so...
And he'll challenge you with his scrambling ability.
Absolutely.
I mean, so it's kind of two parts there.
So Josh Allen has to have a huge week and dominate. But the rest of those guys, Trayvon's got to play better rushing the passer. Otherwise, I mean, Caldwell's going to be forced. Mike Caldwell's going to be forced to dial up a bunch of blitzes. And Jeff, I'll kind of hand this off to you because you're the defensive expert. What I worry about is if all of a sudden we start blitzing and try to play man, because we played more man this week because we weren't afraid of their speed. I don't think we match up in man coverage against the Bills very well.
No, and that the Falcons' reason we played man, their best receiver is Drake London. We matched up a couple times Trey Herndon against him, and we know that Trey Herndon's not real fast, right? I mean, that's not his forte. He's a kind of a zone corner. We had full confidence having Trey Herndon against Drake London. You can't do that this week against the Buffalo Bills. It's just not going to work. I mean, they just got too much speed. And so, to Tony's point, you're going to be a little less hesitant to play man against the Buffalo Bills. And so you've got to have more people in coverage. That means less guys pass rushing, so that means you're going to be rushing 4.
You're going to win one-on-one.
And you're going to be dropping 7, and you've got to win the one-on-ones, and you've got to – and when you do pressure – you've got to be clean. And when I say clean, you have to make the quarterback throw sooner than he wants to. You have to accelerate the window. And that's something that right now, as a whole, they haven't done consistently enough with their blitz or their zone dog, zone blitz package so far.
Plenty ahead. If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150, loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between. This truck makes tough look easy. Your local Ford dealer, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I must say, I have not seen one F-150 in England. They don't really have them over here, Tony. You put the headset back on.
I have not. I have an F-150 back in the garage in Ponte Vedra, but no, I have not seen. I haven't seen a pickup truck over.
I haven't either. That's what I'm saying. They don't have them, Logs.
Jeff wouldn't work out very well.
No, they've got trucks. They've got trucks over here, but they look like vans with pickup beds. Right? You know what I mean?
But we're talking about F-150s. Have you seen an F-150?
I've not seen an F-150.
Okay.
It's all right. We're back in a moment. AFC South. When we return, it is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
No, I mean, it's hard to say if you're over it, but I think they were much more relaxed and really the energy today was much better than last week. You know, you saw it on the sideline, you saw it with the guys, the demeanor, their play, all of that, and it's things that we talked about during the week, and you know, it's about how we respond, and the guys responded extremely well today.
That is Doug Peterson after the game at Wembley yesterday. A Jaguars win over the Atlanta Falcons. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour from the Pavilion Inn in central London on Watling Street, a couple blocks away from St. Paul's Cathedral. The Jaguars with a win yesterday, getting ready for Week 5 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh, you said it wrong.
No. Tottenham. I was just making sure you knew.
No.
How
the
to
first
say
time you said it wrong.
I said Tottenham.
Mr.
Hotspur.
Judgmental can't say it right.
I'm glad you're dressed up for the show, by the way.
Well, I always dress up for the show, you know, JP. I'm a professional broadcaster.
Your collar is out of whack here.
Oh,
That's okay.
fix that.
Whatever you need.
There you go.
I'm glad. I'm so glad.
I mean, you look good, though. I mean, Jeff now, T-shirt. I'm not sure that's professional.
You know. I'm at the pub drinking beer. What do you want me to do?
That's
Go
what
put
it
on a
is.
sport
We're
coat?
all drinking beer, right? This is
Everybody
great.
else wearing T-shirts.
I'm like, yeah, I guess everyone else is dressed like
I got
Jeff.
club-issued apparel.
So maybe I'm a little bit out of it.
Hey, by the way,
how about the spread we have here? We got some hummus. It looks great. But this sausage platter I didn't know it came with onion rings. That's a win right there.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
That looks very healthy.
What is this? Is this like a mango or something?
No, it's some sort of relish we got going on here. I haven't dug in. Maybe try
Like
it.
a chutney or something?
Now, let's see what this chutney is all about.
Is that what that is?
I'm going to try it on an
onion ring.
onion ring.
On the air.
Yeah.
This is great.
This will be
This
interesting.
is- yeah.
So I'll move my mic so I don't.
Yeah. The balance is key here. Okay, that's disgusting.
I mean, we're talking about slopping and gumming right now.
I mean, well, let's pull the mic down. Let's hear it. How is it? Oh, he's still chewing. He's thinking. Yes, Tony.
Outstanding. It's not a mango. It tastes a little sweet. It has some fruit in there. It's very good.
And we haven't had any of the sausages yet. Different types of sausages.
Well, no, we did. I tried the sausage.
Oh, you already did?
Well, JP, you need to get the mustard over there, and then we can all
mustard.
have a little bit of sausage.
Thanks. Yeah, we need the.
There you go.
Yeah, gotta have the mustard. That makes sense.
Put that in.
So great food, great.
First of all, listen. It's great to be over here in London. I cannot say enough about our London Jaguar fans. But not just our London Jaguar fans, which are growing by the day. Also, all the Jacksonville Jaguar fans from Duval that have come across the pond to support us. What Jacksonville and what Shad Khan and his leadership are doing, set aside the Jaguars for a second. I love the fact that we are investing in the growth of the sport I love, which is American football, which is an American sport. It is not an international sport. What Shad, through the NFL, is doing, of committing to come to the UK, and not just for 1 week a year, but a staff over here 12 months a year, launching Jag Tag, going to schools, going across the UK up into, this year we went into Northern Ireland, Scotland. Next year we're going to Ireland, Dublin.
Did you know JP was at a school today?
Yeah, I was at a school today. Up north.
Up north. Great. So Jag Tag's all over the place. I was here from the beginning. So just the growth of the sport that I love is really important to me. And then if you make it Jaguar specific, the growth of the fan base here, and JP, you and I hear about it all the time on Monday nights. We get tweets and questions, and we do a weekly segment for our UK fans.
That's true.
That we do. And so that's grown. And then top it all off, when we come over here, and Jeff and I did an autograph signing, was it Saturday? We did that?
Yeah.
Saturday. Line out the door of this place, and I would say either 50-50 or 60-40 in the favor of Jaguar fans from Jacksonville, Duval fans, flew to London to come support this team. I think it's awesome. And every fan I talk to, and this is at the autograph signing or in Wembley yesterday, were so excited and have told me how much fun it is to come over to London to watch the Jaguars play. And I talked to some fans that have done it every year. Yep. And so this is for me, it's fun. I enjoy it.
Well, and there's a bunch of them that have come over here for both games.
Yeah, which is so cool. Right there. We got our people, the both game people here. And shocking that they be the ones drinking beer while listening to the show.
Amazing. By the way, and there's also some people that went to the game yesterday and are going next week that maybe hop over to Paris or to Ireland for the week.
I met a couple last night at the Mirror Bar.
Yeah.
These bars run together. But
a long night.
And great people and from Jacksonville. And then now they're living in South Florida. They came over and they're doing the trip, doing the thing to where they're here in London. And then, bam, they're going to go and visit another place for 4 days and then turn around and come back for the second game. And, making a whole adventure, which is pretty cool. My wife and daughter are doing this kind of the same thing. They're going to Paris for a couple days.
I went to Prague.
That's true. Yeah, last week.
I did the show from Prague last week.
Who listened last week? Right, you saw it on Jaguars.com. Yeah. Maybe he was in Prague, Czech Republic.
How was that
last week?
Awesome.
Any Jaguar fans over there?
I did not see any Jaguar fans over there. No. I did not, but that's okay. We'll grow I'll work on that next year. Working on the Prague contingent.
Today we did a little sightseeing. We went down to the London Eye, Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, all great things. Big Ben,
and actually walked from the hotel, which was.
You got your steps in today?
I got a lot of steps in today, and got a sweat. But I will tell you, Jaguar paraphernalia
everywhere,
all over. That was cool. I mean, walking the streets of London and seeing Jaguars apparel, that was cool. Not just at the touristy spots, but where else you go in London. That's cool to see, because when we first came here.
That's where I was going, Jeff. That's exactly right.
What was the year, 2013?
Yeah, I believe it was 13 or 14.
I think it was the first year of 2013.
Yes.
And it was Gus Bradley's first year as a head coach.
Yes, it was.
And one of the first years that Shad was the owner of the team. I think it was the first or the second year. Second year. And when we came over here, and I'll never forget because we stayed at the Wembley Hilton.
No, we didn't. We stayed at the Grosvenor.
But we stayed the day before at the Wembley Hilton, the night before. We stayed at
No, that was later. No,
it was a little later.
No,
That's what it was.
remember the
Second
first year we stayed out way out in the middle of nowhere?
Boondocks.
Yeah, boondocks.
But the first game, when you went to the first game, it was rare to see a Jaguars jersey. I mean, like rare.
It was a special sighting.
Which was cool that you saw all the NFL jerseys.
It was a tapestry of NFL jerseys.
But since
big word for you.
That did not include the Jaguars.
But since then, I mean, it's been amazing how many Jaguar jerseys you now see, and some of them are kind of classics. I mean, we had a Blaine Gabbert jersey at the signing that a guy brought.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
Wow. We had the Boats jersey.
Yep. Blake Bortles.
Were there any 56 Lagemans?
None.
No.
None.
That hurt.
Highly
I was
disappointed.
sad.
Highly disappointed.
I thought that would have been an all-timer.
Yeah, there was some.
They need
There was
to
some
come back and-
Yasir Abdullah jerseys.
56 Abdullah jerseys,
Yes.
but not 56 Lageman jerseys.
Yeah, well,
How does that work?
it's all good though, JP.
But it was. I'm just saying. All joking aside, I enjoy it, and I think our fans enjoy it, and I know for a fact that we've grown the fan base of American football, which is important to just me. I don't care if it's important to anyone else. It's important to me, and I know we've grown the Jaguar fan base. I mean, yesterday, before the game, this was on Twitter and Instagram. This was a first for me. The gender reveal for I don't know if you saw this, JP.
I missed this.
Yeah, there was pregame. There was a mother and daughter, and the mother was probably my age, and she had a daughter who was pregnant, and they wanted to do a gender reveal before the game. And so they came over. The daughter's wearing a 71 jersey, and I did the gender reveal, whether it was a boy or girl.
And what was it?
It was a girl.
All right.
And I'm just sitting there thinking, these people had no idea who the Jaguars were before we started this whole journey. And to have this happen and to get a win, what a great day.
We're back in a moment. The second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour will include fan questions from the audience. Look out, Tony.
I can't wait. Let's hear it. Let's go. Get ready to ask questions.
It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. Welcome back. It's the second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour, and we are presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. We welcome you to London. We're at the Pavilion Inn Pub in the basement on Watling Street in central London, 2 blocks away from St. Paul's Cathedral. After a Jaguars win in week number 4 over the Atlanta Falcons, 23-7 the final score. On to next week now. The Jaguars face the Buffalo Bills at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That's this
Very
coming
well done.
Sunday.
We're very well done. Can we,
oh, yes.
real quick,
Yeah.
we got a great crowd here, bunch of Jag fans. And but the only thing is you mistimed your Duval. We'd like to hear a good Duval right now, not when we're not on air.
Don't get us started, Tony.
So can we get a Duval on the count of 3? Are we ready? Yeah. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. I like it.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Way to go, Tony. It's
Yes.
like you've done that before or something.
A couple times.
Yes. A lot to get to, of course, in this second hour coming up. We'll get back into the offense again. Ridley doing it against his old team with a touchdown to open the scoring yesterday. The defense had 3 takeaways, including a pick 6 from Darius Williams. 3
Should have been
sacks
4.
From Josh Allen. Yeah, I know. They almost had another one. He dropped one. And then, of course, now the Jaguars back to even, as is every team in the AFC South.
Darius Williams had really good game, and he needed that. The week before against the Texans, those 2 big long plays to Tank Dell, the one that was early in the ball game that set up the first Texan score, and then the one that was late that was a long touchdown that pretty much slammed the door shut. Those were on him. And so great to see him bounce back and have a strong game. Arguably his best performance that he's had as a Jaguar. And what's crazy is that that's the first interception that he's had since like November of 2020.
Wow. Yeah.
As a pro.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. That's a long stretch of time for a defensive back, especially one who's a starter, going without an interception. So I'm sure he feels so happy this week to have the bounce back and then also to get that interception, which is the first one in a while.
All right, we're going to pull the old switcheroo here.
All right, let's do it.
So normally on this program, and those who listen or watch, we do the Fanatics fan questions, where we put out the cat signal on X and get the best posts,
Yes.
which we've done again today.
We got some.
We might come back to that in a little while.
Sure.
We're going to do live questions from the audience. We haven't done this since phone calls, and you were a huge fan of the phone calls, Tony. I know you were. Don't act like you weren't.
We had fun.
But tonight you get to face these people in person.
Well, I love it. We got our first one up here.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you from? What's up?
I'm Ted from Jacksonville.
Welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
Going for both games. So
Love
yeah.
Ted. Ted, I love it.
Hey, Tony, I got a question regarding our offensive line.
Okay.
Cam Robinson's back from suspension.
Yep.
Does he start Sunday against the Bills? And where and what do we do with Walker Little?
Great question, Ted. Great question. I think we're gonna have to change our keeping it real.
It's okay.
Now.
That's
fine.
okay. We can double up.
Yes, he starts. Cam is one of our best 5 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
I don't think Jeff would argue that. I don't think anyone would argue that. The problem you have, if I were to look at the span of games that Walker Little has played at left tackle since Cam got hurt, and I think that is what now, 8 or 9? 9, 10 games?
This past game was Walker Little's 7th regular season start in his career.
And then
at
two
left tackle.
and then two
in the playoffs.
So 9, he's had 9 starts. So if I look at that body of work and then I go back to the 9 previous games where Cam Robinson started, I think Walker's played better at left tackle than Cam. Now, that doesn't change the fact that Cam's one of our best 5. So now you have to ask yourself, okay, what do I do with this? Because I need Cam on the field because he's one of my best 5, but Walker Little is probably my best left tackle right now, just based on the body of evidence. So what I would do, I've actually changed my opinion since preseason.
Really?
I would take Walker Little and put him at left guard. Because I think Walker Little is your best offensive lineman, period. And if you go back to the 3rd preseason game, I thought Walker Little played very well, very physical, great job of getting to the next level when he played left guard. And so I think he's your best offensive lineman. Cam's one of your best 5. And so to get both of them on the field, you put Walker at left guard and Cam at left tackle.
But not taking over right tackle for
Anton
Harrison.
Anton Harrison is one of your best 5 offensive linemen, and he has a ton of upside. You drafted in the 1st round. He has the upside. You do not move the rookie from right tackle right now.
Now, see, I'm going to slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, and go back in time just a little bit. You remember in the preseason when Cam was playing a lot down the stretch at left tackle because you knew that the suspension was impending?
I know where you're going.
Okay, the head coach wasn't very happy with the performance of Cam Robinson in camp and stated so. So if he didn't have a great camp, okay, and then during the suspension now, it's not like he's practicing. Okay, he's doing his own thing. He is not allowed on the practice field.
Wasn't he allowed last
week? Out of the building.
He's been in the building.
He's been in the building.
Not in the field till this
Not on
week.
the field.
Right.
Okay, so today, if they had a practice today, which they don't because the players had a day off, today is the first time he's allowed to practice. So here we're talking about a guy who had a level of inactivity. Okay, he was able to do some physical things, hasn't had a practice in multiple weeks, and then before, when he was playing, he didn't play very well. So I think you almost have to, if you're going to do it, then, and when I say do it, what Tony's talking about, putting Cam in at left tackle and moving Walker a little to left guard, there's a lot of faith there because you're doing something that you haven't trusted with your eyes and you don't have any evidence that tells you that's the best thing to do. You're kind of just saying, hey, look, we think this might be the best thing to do, or we think this might be the best term long term, but maybe it's not the best for right now. So I don't know. Maybe it takes a week. Maybe it takes 2 weeks. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Here's the thing. I don't know if there's the right answer. But I do believe what Tony's saying, that eventually that's where it needs to be.
So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot, Jeff, because I came out and said this is what I do. Ted, great question.
Appreciate
what
it,
I do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Based on what you've seen in the preseason, you described, and you and I are 100% aligned on how Cam played in the preseason. Could not, 100%. Now you take that, how Walker's played over the period of time we talked about, but then you have these 4 games of how the interior 3 of this offensive line have played. If you, Jeff Lageman, were the head coach and offensive line coach, and you had to make a decision today for this week's game against the Buffalo Bills, Is this team better of rolling the dice as you've described? And it's hard for me to disagree with because Cam hasn't practiced. I'm taking a blind leap of faith here a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But are you better off doing that with Cam at left, Walker at left guard, left tackle, left guard, or rolling out, keeping Cam on the sideline for another week, seeing where he is, and rolling out the offensive line you rolled out against the Atlanta Falcons? What would you do?
If it were me, I would roll out the same offensive line that I had against the Atlanta Falcons, and Cam is active. Okay, and that, because I want to see him practice for more than just essentially 2 days.
Okay.
Just to gain, number one, confidence in him, to see more, and then also to kind of show his teammates that, hey, look, you got to earn your way back because you had a misstep. Okay, and that's on Cam. This misstep.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not on anybody else.
Hard to argue.
Not on anybody else. And I'm not trying to say that you're trying to punish him anymore, but he has to earn his way back.
I think that's fair. I'd still do what I said, though. Jeff makes a good point, though. Jeff makes a good point. I mean, just because he's wrong doesn't make it a bad point.
Right, you're entitled to your own wrong opinion, right?
I know how Pete feels now.
Yeah, that's the Pete Prisco line. Another fan question. What's your name? Where are you from? What's up?
I'm Tyler Pretty. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. So
Okay.
Love it.
Came all the way out here.
Love it.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
So in regards of the most drop passes the Jaguars hold, do you think that's in fault more of Trevor Lawrence or the receiver's fault?
That's the easiest question I've had all night.
There you go.
The receivers. 100% on the receivers. If it hits your hands, you catch the ball. That's what you get paid to do.
All right.
That'd be like me missing a block and blaming the quarterback,
Yeah.
Well, you've done that before.
which I might have done before.
I think I read a story.
Yeah, you've done that before.
But it was still my fault, even if I didn't want to admit it. No, that's 100% on the receiver.
Well, I don't think there was a drop yesterday.
There was not.
No.
That was like glue hands, the best catch job of the Jaguars yet this year. You know, prior to that game, 9 drops on the season, and Calvin had 4. And you know, if you go back and you look at this team over the last 2 years, they've led the league in drops, which is amazing to think of that. And so hopefully that changes this year. But as of the conclusion of the Texans game, that's where it was headed.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can smooth things out, you know, because everybody was double catching things against the Texans. This past game, it was almost
It was clean.
It was clean. It was effortless. It was like second nature, no big deal. And they've got to continue to do that. And by the way, we haven't given Trevor Lawrence enough praise for this performance that he had in this game. I thought that was one of his best games because not only did he do a really good job without much of a running game, but I thought that he used his legs at key moments in the ballgame. I wished he used his legs one more time. Okay, on that 3rd and 5 where he chose to throw it in the end zone to Ernest Johnson when he could have just literally walked to a first down and could have gotten a lot more. But I thought he played a really solid game. And when your team is down, you need to have your best players rise up and have their best performances. And I don't think it was Trevor's best because he's capable of so much, but his level of performance was raised in this game, and it made everybody else better. And that's what you want, somebody that's going to be gritty and kind of, you know, the old saying, take the bull by the horns, take responsibility himself. And that was impressive, and that's what Trevor has always done. But in this game, they really needed it.
Jags fans, gear up at Fanatics.com with all latest Jag styles. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything. Oh, we got some time left. We're going to come back in a moment, and we'll open the floor again.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the rest of the show, we'll do Keeping It Real. But I think at any point, these lovely Jacksonville fans that are sharing a few pints would like to come up and ask a question. I think they just march themselves up here and ask a question.
Yeah, just keep it clean.
Yeah,
or
we can edit.
Yeah, I guess we can. We surely can. Hey, thank you for joining us today. We're back in just a moment with Keeping It Real in London. It is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. At the Pavilion Inn Pub on Watling Street in central London, just blocks away from St. Paul's Cathedral. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Hall of Famer Tony Boselli and Jeff Lageman. No Pete Prisco this week.
Yeah, Pete. We miss Pete, but he couldn't figure out how to get to London. So guess what? If you're not in London, you're not in the show, buddy.
What game was he at? Was he at the Miami Buffalo game?
I don't think he goes. He doesn't go.
He doesn't go to any games. What he does is he sits in the CBS control tower and watches all the games. Because I will say the one valuable thing, there's several valuable. I love Pete. But usually I do.
You said, oh, just one. Oh,
No, I said
wait a minute.
one of the.
Yeah, okay.
Is on this show, because he watches every game. And so he has a perspective, because you and I don't see every game. We see one. At best, two, if we get home for the late game. And so it's always fun to hear from Pete, because he understands what's happening across the league.
He's got a great perspective.
Yeah, he does. He has a great perspective. Don't tell him I said anything nice about him.
I won't.
Thank you.
I won't.
But I will say that sometimes he thinks he knows the best way to game plan,
That's my favorite part about him.
but he doesn't know.
He has a strong opinion that's wrong.
But at least it's strong.
It's strong.
It is strong.
There's nothing stronger than Pete Prisco's opinion.
But the one thing about Pete Prisco that I will say that he was way forward thinking. Years ago, he was preaching about you got to have a quarterback league, got to have a quarterback, got to have a quarterback. And that was before people realized, and a lot of people were thinking, well, yeah, you can get by without a quarterback. No, you can't. I mean, and
Especially in today's rules.
Especially with today, but Pete was on the money with that.
Yep.
He also calls himself Pete Prisco because there's an I in Prisco. That's Pete in a nutshell.
Exactly.
Hey, we're going to take some more.
It's good for me.
That's right.
Yes.
Hey, some more questions from our audience.
Nice.
Right now, we're going to call this Keeping It Real, presented by Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi. Open up a winner today. Real Ingredients award-winning wine by Robert Mondavi. Still waiting, Tony.
I'm not going to touch that today.
Why not?
Well, I mean, we'll discuss it later.
Well, okay. That's fine. I know where you're going with this. Fan questions. Hi, welcome. What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Michael. I'm from Gaul, East Yorkshire. Had to get a British person up here.
Okay, hold on.
Well, where are you from?
Where are you from?
Gaul, and it's in East Yorkshire.
Eastern
Yorkshire.
What?
Yeah, East Yorkshire.
Oh, East Yorkshire.
Yeah.
The pudding, Yorkshire.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
that. But he
that's
said
right.
East. I didn't understand that the first time.
Welcome.
Thank you.
This is what I deal with every week.
No. East Yorkshire is a great little community. And my point
How do you
was,
know?
because
He's totally making this up.
no, Yorkshire is a
about?
great place. I didn't understand the East Yorkshire part. It kind of ran together in your strong accent, which is beautiful. But what's your question?
My question is, how do you think an extra week away from family, away from home, is going to affect the players in
Great
their preparation
question
this week?
You know what? I got to say something. That's better than any American question we've got tonight.
Wow.
I mean,
We're making friends, Tony.
well, I'm just saying. I mean, that's a great question.
By the way, did we do any good in the Ryder Cup? Because
No.
everywhere we've gone, I got to say this for real.
We have to bring this up. We got our butts kicked.
People
right?
have known that we're Americans walking around. The first thing they want to talk about with us is the Ryder Cup. That has not been fun this week.
No, it didn't go well for you, did it? No.
No.
I conceded. I conceded.
It was over. What do you think about that, though?
Well, I think it's interesting because I think some guys had their families come over, and so they'll have their wives or girlfriends or significant others here. I don't think it's that big a deal. I really don't. And, I mean, 1 week, even if it's up to 10 days, if you count when they left last week, being away from the family, I mean, don't let my wife hear this. But when I was playing, I had young kids. 10 days, sleeping in a hotel, no kids, good rest. I think I might have played better. I mean, so I don't think it's a huge deal.
No, but
I really don't.
When it can be a huge deal is the stress of, let's say you have a significant other that wants to be there, and you're trying to take care of all the details for
Tickets and everything.
and or family that wants to come. I mean, so that's the one thing I think that players all face challenge-wise, and it's not just about being over here. It's also being back in the States sometimes that you have to handle family sometimes, and because sometimes they can be a pain in the rear.
Yeah, and Jeff, I would say that's across the board. That happens always. I was fortunate. I mean, I got married before I ever showed up in Jacksonville. I mean, I got drafted, got married, then came to training camp. And so my wife was always great about handling all the distractions so I did not have to. So, like, if you wanted a ticket and you were part of our family, it went through her, not me. And so if it was me and I was coming over here for 10 days, whether she came or not would be her decision. But regardless, I would just put everything to her. Like, you handle the tickets, you do all that. I don't want to worry about it. And so I don't think it's that big a deal.
No, and one of the other things that the team has done an amazing job of trying to make the experience over here as close to home as possible. as far as taking care of a lot of small that may be issues with the players. Like the first couple of years, that team kind of was still figuring it out. The meals, the schedule, making sure that the players had the best way to get rested while all this travel was going on, and they really I don't want to say they have it completely figured out. But with the experience of the number of years being here, this year being year 10, it's become a lot easier for these players because of everything that they've learned through the course of a decade.
Thanks for the question.
Yeah, I would say this. From East Yorkshire, I didn't understand the first 3 times you said
Not yolk. It's not an egg. Yorkshire.
Yorkshire. That's what I said. East Yorkshire.
Got to work on this guy.
What are you talking about? East Yorkshire.
Anyway, go ahead.
Thank you. Great question. And I apologize for not understanding you the first 3 times you said it.
That's strong. I can't believe it.
How long you been a Jags fan?
Ever since day one, I was there for the first game when there was no one else there in a Jags jersey but me, and we got really heavily beaten by the 49ers. I went to Jacksonville a few years ago, watched us beat the Colts 6-0. It was a highlight of the game.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. But
What was
I
your
love them.
Jags jersey that you were wearing that
Well, yeah,
day?
I came straight from work today. I think it was a Eugene Monroe jersey. That was the first
wow.
jersey.
Back
That's
there,
a real
yeah.
How about that?
shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, by the way, that's a University of Virginia guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Nobody cares.
Yeah. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, guys.
Hey,
Appreciate
thanks for all the support,
Really
too.
cool.
Thank you very much.
We got plenty of time for more. Let's get let's get one more in before the
here we go.
timeout. We'll get some more
By the
as
way,
show goes along.
the first game was a bad memory.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that was a really good 49ers team.
Yeah.
And they scored on the first 4 possessions of the game.
Yes, they did.
And it was 28-0 before we even knew what
Jeff,
was going on.
I don't know if you remember this. You and I were on the field during pregame, and the 49ers came out, and then the Jags came out. We both looked at each other and saying, this is not going to
go well.
Uh-oh.
We were little. They were big. We weren't fast.
Yeah.
They were fast. I'm
Yes.
like, this is bad combination.
Yeah, like the echo of the anthem was still
Yes.
playing, and it was 14-zip. Like,
Ooh,
my
bad.
goodness. What's up, man? How are you? Welcome.
Good, I'm good.
What's your name? Where you from? I don't
Thomas
let you do
Stanley from Jacksonville.
Another Jaguar.
Yes, sir.
We saw you. Were you at the autograph
I
shop?
was at the meet and greet.
Yes,
I was
the
at
meet and
that. Oh,
greet.
the
yes.
shirt. He's got the shirt, the Mitchell and Ness
Well,
shirt.
Here's
Yeah.
how we remember.
Broken finger.
There it is.
Yep, there it is. Yes, sir.
All right, what's up?
Well, looking forward to this Sunday in the Josh Allen Bowl. How do the Jaguars defensively stop Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs specifically?
Jeff?
Secondary.
It is the second Josh Allen Bowl, by the way. The Jaguars got the Bills a few years ago in Jacksonville and beat them. It was another field goal game. It was like, what, 9-6?
That's right.
Jaguars Josh Allen had a big day against Bills Josh Allen.
Well, and I think that has to happen again. Okay, the Josh Allen that we have in Teal has to have a big day to really neutralize Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. And if that doesn't happen, I think we struggle just because they're that good of a football team. And, the one key component for this defense that's been key to their success in the 3 games that they've done pretty well in as a defense, even though they didn't win the game against Kansas City, has been their ability to be really good against the run, to help their defense out against the pass. And that has to continue against Buffalo, but even then it's no guarantee that they're going to stop them.
Jeff, don't you think the other big thing is turnovers? Because where we've had success, we've turned the ball over.
Yes.
Yeah, I think turnovers are going to go a long way. I think we have to win the turnover battle to win the game.
By how many?
Well, I just think winning the turnover, whether it's 1, 2, I just think we just have to win the turnover. Give ourselves.
If our offense is clunky, we got to be plus 2.
Oh yeah, I'm. Fair
If
enough.
our offense takes some steps, and I think +1
Yeah.
with maybe a couple other, maybe a good special teams play.
Yeah, good
or,
field position.
stopping them on downs or something of that nature will help us out.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I would agree.
Thanks for the question. Appreciate
sir.
it. Always
Thanks.
good to see
Hey,
you.
thanks for coming over too.
Yes, sir.
Thanks
Go
for showing up
Jags.
there today. Awesome.
We've got. We'll come back in a moment. We've got plenty of show ahead. About 30 minutes left.
Not plenty, only
program.
30 minutes.
Well, we got 30 minutes left. Plenty depends
going
on
fast.
relative to what we have left.
Well, if you
Plenty.
look at the beginning when we had 2 hours, now we have much less than 2
we
hours.
have only 1/4 of that left.
So it's not a lot of time, Jay.
Do they have that in England, or is that the metric system? Time is different.
I think time is consistent, whether it's.
I'm with you. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. That was Keeping It Real. Presented by Woodbridge by Robert Mondavi. Open up a winner today. Real Ingredients award-winning wine by Robert Mondavi. More questions from the Pavilion Inn Pub in London. After a Jaguars win, it's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour in London. at the Pavilion Inn Pub, a couple blocks away from St. Paul's Cathedral.
Hey, JP.
Yes, Tony Boselli.
Just to, what a great place. What a great pub.
It's awesome, right?
Thank you to whoever owns this fine establishment, because just great crowd, great food.
The sausage was tremendous.
Yeah, by the
So
way.
amazing.
That might be some of the spiciest mustard I've ever had in my life.
JP's complaining about the mustard. He's not very tough.
The sausage was fantastic.
The food was outstanding. A little hummus, a little onion ring. I mean, it's just a great atmosphere. What a cool place. So thank you for hosting us.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the fans coming out. And thank you for the great food.
Hey, we've got fan questions still, so if anybody's in line, we'll get to you in just a moment. Hey, this is we missed you on Saturday, Tony. The big pub party was here Saturday. It was packed. Anybody here for that? Hey, we're going to do it again next Saturday too. So I hope to see you back here for that one. Fred Taylor was here, which was
Freddie
great
T.
to see Freddie T on Saturday. And then of course we'll be here with the shows Wednesday and Thursday.
So I'll be here.
well.
I'll be here Thursday.
Great.
I'll be here Thursday at the show to sit with Jeff, since Jeff came and was kind enough to join you and I with Pete out. So I'll be in Thursday.
I heard we're going to have a special guest Thursday.
Yes, looking forward to that.
Couple of special
are we
guests.
announcing that or no?
No.
Okay.
Just in case.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to say anything.
I don't want to
Just in case they no show.
Yeah, they don't come show up.
You never know.
So I'll be here Thursday. I just found out about Wednesday. Maybe I'll. What time's Wednesday?
What else do you do? It's 5 o'clock right here.
Well,
It's huddle up.
I got a lot of stuff going on. I can't tell you about it.
Why not?
Top secret.
What are you talking about?
It's a lot of interesting things. A lot of things moving and shaking, JP.
Are there really?
Yes.
I always know you to be a mover and a shaker.
Mover and shaker, yes.
That's what you do.
But I'll be here Thursday for sure. And this is just a great place. I thoroughly enjoy the pub here. And thank you for having us and hosting
I'm
us.
coming back to get more sausage.
The sausage. I will say
onion
this.
rings, good.
I like the onion rings. I love onion rings, though. I would like, my request is, when we do the show Thursday at 5, right? Is that what time we kick it off?
5 London time, yes.
5 London
It will
time.
still air in Jacksonville at 4
Normal
o'clock.
time, yes. Sorry. I would like the sausage, if we could have it prepared on the table when we show up, that'd be perfect.
Hey, you're in the Hall of Fame, man. Whatever you want. I mean, I guess.
I noticed they call it fried squid. I call that calamari. Might have to try the calamari as well.
There's only one way to find out if it's good, and I'm sure it is.
I have not had one bad thing at this lovely establishment.
It's always good here.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, we've got plenty of fan questions. Jaguars fans, gear up at Fanatics.com with all latest Jag styles. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything. Let's stay here at the Pavilion Inn. Sir, what's your name? Where are you from?
My name's John Henry.
Okay. Where are you from?
I'm from a little county called Duval.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Little fake
You
British
got us.
accents. No, he got
How'd
you.
I do, mate?
You get me. Not very good. Okay, it's okay. What's up?
I just want to know, how can we Jaguars improve special teams going against Buffalo this weekend?
Get Agnew back.
Well, I mean, I think but I thought Logan was great this week.
Logan Cook.
Logan
the
Cook
punter.
did a good job.
I thought Logan did a great job. I thought McManus was great, hitting long field goals. The return game.
Kickoff return, maybe?
Well, the return game, they kicked it out, so we're not going to return them. I mean, the kickoff return is taking really almost a devalued.
It's a nothing play now.
Yeah, because you can kick it out.
Yeah, I mean, very few guys are going to bring it out. I mean, we have a guy that can do that
that's
in
right.
Agnew, but not having him, this team misses him.
Punt return mostly.
But not being on the football field. I think punt return and kick return, because a lot of times you give him latitude to return a kickoff even when the ball's 5 yards deep in the end zone, because you trust him. And if your offense is stumbling and bumbling around, sometimes he can kind of kick.
Yeah, you want him to do it.
as he's done so far this year.
I mean, I think you look at the punt return this week, I think they were going to try to kind of run their normal strategy with the rookie in there. When he got hurt and Christian Kirk was going back there, I am convinced they told him fair catch everything.
Yeah, or just let it go out of bounds.
Or let it go out because they trusted him catching it, but they did not want him returning it.
He had one good return out of it, though. I mean, but he's not Agnew.
No, but remember, I'll never, when we had a safe return when Jeff and I played, they would put Keenan McCardell back there because he was the most trusted guy to just catch it. And it drove Keenan crazy because they told him fair catch everything, and he would break the rules sometimes and start trying to return it. And I think that's really what they told Agnew. It's like, listen, unless there's something like wide open, just fair catch it. Let's get it to the
You're talking about Kirk.
Kirk, yes. Kirk, sorry. So getting Agnew will help, but I think besides return game, I thought the special teams were outstanding.
By the way, they said Jamal Agnew will give it a go this week, see how that goes with his, thigh injury? Right?
Yeah, it was like a quad, wasn't it?
Something like
quad
that.
Thigh, same thing.
Yeah,
So,
thigh.
and then Parker Washington didn't sound good. Doug Peterson mentioned that today. No, they're going to take a further look at that.
Well, yeah, he had the knee, but you know what?
Did you see it on film?
I did, and it was hard to tell exactly what happened because there was a pile of bodies. But the one thing I got to say is that, look, you were on your third returner in this ball game.
Yeah.
Okay. There's not a lot of teams that have three guys that they trust
To catch it.
and because that's a hard thing to do is to trust a guy to be your punt returner. It's also, for example, if you want to find out who they love as far as special teams players, look at who's playing on punt team. And I'm not talking about the gunners. I'm talking about the guys that are in front because those are the most trusted guys on special teams because you trust them that they're not going to screw it up to get a punt
Get it blocked.
Who's up there?
Winger's
in there, isn't he?
Winger, Caleb Williams,
Caleb Johnson.
Johnson, sorry, not Caleb Williams.
Is one of them. But
Southern
I was thinking SC
What a
quarterback.
Heisman. Amazing.
SC quarterback, I was thinking.
But I mean, credit to Kirk. But I wanted to say this too. Christian Kirk is a really good football player. And when he gets the ball in the open field, he can do some things. It takes a special guy to be a returner because you got to have something loose up here. Okay, because those dudes that are coming down the field
flying by
are running full speed. Okay, and a lot of those guys, if they don't make a tackle, they're out of the job. And so they're coming down there to tattoo somebody's rear end. And so it takes a special player to be a returner. And I'm talking about a guy that he's either dumb, okay, or he's just crazy and loves the contact. But it takes courage. But it takes a crazy courage in a lot of ways, and that's what Agnew has. And he's missed when he's not out there.
Thanks for the question.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
you coming
you, guys.
over,
Thank
man.
you, guys.
Go Jags.
Awesome, man. Thanks a lot. Fan questions continuing. The Fanatics fan questions. From,
I've seen a lot of great players, JP, on kick return.
Yes.
That when you give the ball to them on offense, they're dynamic, they're crazy athletic, and they play fast. You give them the ball as a deep guy on kickoff, and all of a sudden their speed changes because you got 11 guys coming down
Little
there.
tentative, you're saying?
Oh yeah. That's tough. It takes a special person.
Fanatics fan questions continue after a Jaguars win and then going into the Buffalo game. Sir, hello. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name's Travis from Jacksonville.
Oh, all right. A lot of Jacksonville folks here. It's awesome. Welcome.
So my question is, after 10 years of games here in London, and now we're playing games in Germany and other places, how long do you guys think it'll be until we see an expansion in the NFL into these other markets that we're seeing?
That's interesting. I read an article the other day where the league is thinking about playing games in Spain and
Madrid.
in Brazil also.
Madrid next year.
Yeah.
Is what I've heard. I still think we're at least a decade, if not more, and maybe not within our lifetimes, but at least a decade before you see a team outside the U.S.
One way or another.
Outside of Canada. I could see us going to Canada, like Toronto or something, or Vancouver, which are major markets. I think the next closest would be somewhere in Mexico, maybe Mexico City. But I think that has some of its own challenges. And not because there's not interest. I think just the travel logistics, week in and week out, you probably could figure out the regular season, but then the competitive disadvantage come playoff time and what it would take from a week to week, not knowing where you're going, a team having to go to the U.S. to the U.K. or Germany or wherever, or vice versa, them having to come over. I think that's a tough one to overcome. And, now, could they figure out travel with the, if they brought the Concorde back or something similar? I mean, I don't know. But I don't think it's tomorrow. I don't think it's in the near future. I think there's a lot to do. And then the other thing is, I think expansion in the NFL probably isn't going to happen anytime soon either. There's not enough today. There's not enough offensive linemen to play the game. 32 is a stretch to find enough good offensive lines, and there's not enough quarterbacks. I think you can fill out the rest of the position groups besides offensive linemen and quarterbacks. I just don't think there's enough to have good football beyond 32. So the travel, logistics, plus that, I think we're a long way away from expansion.
Because we know they can sell. I mean, the game here is sold out.
It's not about
sold out in 10 minutes.
It's not about demand.
Yeah.
It's about just having a good product, understand the competitive balance of how do you actually do something in the playoffs that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is my belief. I don't think there's enough offensive linemen and quarterbacks in the world.
Oh, you can always find players.
I disagree.
Yeah,
Not at
you
a
can
high
always
level.
find players.
Jeff, the reason they changed the rules to protect the quarterbacks the way they've did and how they've done that in the past is because they know if that starting quarterback gets hurt, the level of play goes just plummets. It's not a good product to watch any longer. They're not protecting quarterbacks, in my opinion, out of player safety. They're protecting those guys because they know if the stars of that position go down, the product suffers, their ratings suffer, their revenue suffers. It's bad.
Look at the ratings of the Jets this year.
Thank you.
I mean, the first game of the year was going to be sky high with Aaron Rodgers, and you lose Aaron Rodgers, and all of a sudden,
hey, Zach Wilson
ratings
rallied
down the hill.
yesterday, though.
He played well yesterday.
He did.
He
Got
did
the
play well.
2-point conversion.
He played really well yesterday. In fairness,
let's get excited about one game.
Come on, Locke. Sorry. Hey, thanks for the question. We really appreciate it. Fanatics fan questions continuing. That's an interesting one. The Germany ones go really quickly. They're playing 2 in Frankfurt this year.
I remember when I came over here. So my last year playing was 1998, and then in 1999 I called a game for Fox, and in 2000 I came over here and called NFL Europe games, and called one game in Berlin and then one game in Amsterdam. And the one thing I remember about NFL Europe then, the fans in Frankfurt in Germany. Crazy over American football. And the London Monarchs, NFL Europe at that time, also had a great fan base. But yeah, it was amazing. They literally had buses that traveled and followed the team of Frankfurt.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with demand.
Nope.
Everything to do with logistics in the playoffs especially. Travel, competitive balance, and I just don't think there's enough. And so the only way you get enough offensive linemen and quarterbacks, and I think the NFL is trying to do this.
Rodgers not worried about finding offensive linemen to play in Europe.
No, but the offensive line, I think you could find a bunch of offensive linemen in Europe. But you have to start. This is why I love what the Jags are doing. You have to start young and introduce these, because I've done camps over here, and there are some big athletic human beings over here that, with the right training, could no doubt play offensive line. So that's more doable in filling that need than the quarterback. Guys, we have 32 teams today.
Yeah, and
how many franchise quarterbacks, how many teams are satisfied with their quarterback situation or not looking for someone to replace them?
Right now?
Half?
No. Not even half.
That's my point.
Less, yeah.
Okay, that's my point.
Right.
Let's just say it was half.
12 to 14.
But let's say it was half. Let's be super, feel good about the situation. That's 16. That means 16 teams don't have a guy. And then if you're going to go expand by whether it's 1 to 4 to whatever, you're just increasing the number of teams that don't have a quarterback.
Hey, by the way, speaking of franchise quarterbacks, did you guys see C.J. Stroud's performance yesterday?
He's one of them, by the way.
That guy's one of them.
I said this, Jeff. I said this earlier. Who would have thought that the Texans would be a real threat this year? But with C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans as the head coach, that is a real threat to the Jacksonville Jaguars winning the division
for the next decade.
For the next decade. That's how good that kid is.
And even this year.
Oh, today.
They've got the tiebreaker right now.
This minute. Yeah. They beat our rear ends.
I thought you were going to say something else.
I was about to.
Yeah.
They beat
and you wouldn't be wrong, by the way.
Exactly. And so this is, it's going to be a competitive South. I thought it was just pretty much, us and then worry about the Titans.
When do we go back to Houston?
I'm not sure.
I think it's late.
But here's the good news: we play better in Houston than we play the Texans at home. So,
true. Thanks for all the fan questions tonight. We appreciate it. Well done. Well done. If you're a Jags fan who's always on the move, we've got the perfect plan for you. With the bundle at the bank, you can purchase tickets to 3 or more games starting at just $58 per game. Get the flexibility you want for your time this fall. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Our final thoughts, final segment of Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. For 10 years, Dreamfinders Homes has been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all the available inventory and go Jags.
Breaking news.
Oh,
Breaking
my gosh.
News. Breaking news. Can we get a camera? Hold on. Give me this. Give me this. Send me this. Pass this up here.
Pull it up here. Look at
that. The Lageman jersey. We found a Lageman jersey. I love it.
They got it out of the British Museum. Unbelievable.
My cousin Alex there showed up.
Yeah. That's an old school one.
That is an old school one.
They're all the Lagemans are old school. That's how it works.
No, they're not. I like how the fan said it best. It's not old school. It's vintage.
Yes, correct.
Vintage.
We were trying to find one earlier in London. We found one in London here tonight. Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. JP Shadrick, Tony Boselli, Jeff Lageman from the Pavilion Inn Pub in central London. What a scene this should be. We'll be back here on Wednesday for Huddle Up. Apparently, Tony, you're coming now if you're open.
I'm going to try to come
5 o'clock.
I'm trying to come Wednesday. I am committed to being here Thursday. I'm going to get the details because we need to put this out. I want this place like overflowing on Thursday for sure.
Okay, we can do that.
Especially got good food. You got a couple adult beverages. Let's get this place filled.
Yeah. It's a great crowd tonight.
No, it's a great. No,
what are you trying to say?
No, the crowd's great. I want people banging on the doors outside to get in, and they can't. That's how crowded.
Okay, we can work on that.
Yes.
Logs, you're here the rest of the week.
I'm here. Got stuff to do. We got our TV show that we're doing from here.
Oh, cool. Are you doing Thursday Night TV from
Thursday Night TV. We have our radio show here Thursday. If you guys need me on Wednesday, I'll be here Wednesday.
I'm going to try to come Wednesday. Who's doing the TV show? Do you have a Jaguar or no?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah.
I know that we got me and Brent Martineau and Kai.
Are you doing it live? It's like midnight?
No. It's not done. I think we're doing it kind of like this.
You're going to tape it and then send it back.
Kind of like this.
It'll be a late night.
Yeah, it'll be quite an evening at the end of that show.
Still working out all the details. At least I don't know all the details.
Don't have any Guinness if you're doing it live because that would be a tough show.
But this has been nice.
What a great place. This is a great atmosphere.
I'm just glad that this is Cape. We had this ability here.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of teamwork to get it done. The crew here on the camera side is fantastic.
Great job to Joe and Dave and all the cameramen. We have some UK cameramen here, so thank you. And a bunch of people, fans have been great. What a really cool atmosphere.
Good look, and Jason Dean always makes sure everything's plugged in just
He's
the
around
right
here
way.
Somewhere.
They all do.
Jason might be at the bar. We're not sure.
He might be. The show's on, so he's good.
He's good. He got us on the air, and he's like, I'm out.
That's right. We'll see you guys later. All right, so coming up, of course, this week, the Jaguars face the Buffalo Bills, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, northeast London. And what a scene it should be, of course. The Jaguars will be the road team in that game against the Bills. The Bills are a powerful football team. They displayed that yesterday, putting up over 40 against the Dolphins. A perfect passer rating for Bills quarterback Josh Allen. The defense is fantastic, of course, slowing down the Dolphins to only 20 points. So the Jags have their hands full this week at Spurs.
Well, Tre'Davious White looks like he's out. He had an Achilles, non-contact Achilles in the game against Miami, one of their top corners. But that front seven is really good. You talked about Josh Allen. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be our first time at Tottenham.
Oh, because Tottenham.
It'll be our first time at Tottenham.
So the broadcast team, to explain what you're saying, did not travel in 2021
because of COVID.
When the team beat the Dolphins. The Jaguars won there on a field goal at the last second.
Yeah, we broadcast from Everbank.
Yep.
Correct.
Like we did. We didn't do all the games that year. The year before, we did all the games from Everbank. That 1 year, we didn't go.
That's the only place we didn't travel to.
We didn't travel because of COVID. There was some of the restrictions and everything else. So I'm looking forward to it.
Is Von Miller? What's
he started practicing this week.
Okay, and I'm kind of curious about that.
I don't think he'll play.
I hope not.
I don't think he will.
Does that change any decision on the tackles?
No.
if no matter what Vaughn does.
No.
No, I don't think that can change your thinking. I think you got to do what's best for your football team.
Game plan might change if Von.
Oh, big time.
But I mean, listen, Vaughn's coming off an ACL, first game back. He's not going to be Von Miller. He's not going to have the movement and everything. He'll still be good.
We thought that with Jerry Rice too. Remember the first game back for Jerry Rice? I mean, he's pointing at the knee like that.
Yeah,
and
remember
killing everybody.
Adrian Peterson did that against the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Remember?
Right, I don't buy it.
2012.
I'm just telling you, pass rusher. It's different when you're an offensive player and you know where you're going and you are kind of dictating a defensive end in the style that Von Miller wants to play is 100% reacting to that offensive tackle. That's what made Von so great. He could counter. He could set up things. I mean, he's an amazing player.
He's not a young man anymore.
And he's not a young man. I don't think if he does play, he'll be the Von Miller we've seen. Now, do I think he'll get back to that? Absolutely. A couple of weeks, he'll be rolling. But listen, having an ACL, never missed a game. I remember the first game. Don't feel like yourself. Doesn't mean you can't play well, but you do not feel like yourself. You're not the same player the first game back. I don't care what anyone says.
How long did it take you to come back?
I tore it January 2nd, and I started opening day in September.
Yeah, it was 9 months.
Like 8.5.
8.5.
Because I didn't
You
have
got
surgery right
a little
away.
bit
I had to
later.
wait. Yeah, so I think 8.5 months from surgery to starting opening day.
And mine, I did mine in like 11 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't feel normal 11 months.
And I didn't feel no.
Far from it.
No.
Yeah, I mean, both Tony and I had isolated ACLs.
Yep, that's right.
And you know, mine was.
And what that means, isolated, no MCL, no cartilage damage. It was a clean tear of the ACL. So it's a little bit easier to come back from. I'm not sure what Vaughn had, if it was clean ACL, if he had other things. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But regardless, if he does play, first week practicing this week, he will not be the Von Miller that we have seen. So I'm not worried about Vaughn. I'm worried about the rest of that front seven because without Vaughn, they're the second-ranked defense in the NFL this year.
They got, first of all, like I said earlier, talent at all three levels.
Yeah.
Their linebacking group.
Really good.
I mean, you want to talk about really good? Really good. Talent, again, all three levels.
And then the other side, Jaguars defense against this Bills offense. Josh Allen, the quarterback, triggering it. They've got receivers. And how do you begin to defend?
Well, let me just say this. The one great thing about Buffalo's offense, they're not balanced very well. You know, and that was one of the reasons why they've been early outs, is because they haven't been able to find balance as an offense. They don't stay committed to the running game, which is surprising because, I mean, that's a cold-weather team. Most cold-weather teams are saying, hey, look, we got to be able to run the football in December.
But, Jeff,
they don't do that.
They're unbalanced in the way that we wish they were.
I know.
Opposite.
I know. Yeah, we wish they were better running the ball.
Yeah.
Not as good at
we stopped the run better.
Yeah.
Jeff
that
said
unbalanced can put up 40 a game.
That's right. Jeff said it best earlier, and you mentioned it. When we played 2 years ago, I think it was, and we won 9-6, our Josh Allen dominated and beat their Josh Allen.
He did.
Josh Allen.
And that was a monster game he had in that game.
I'm not putting it all on
legit.
I'm not putting it all on our 41 Josh Allen, but he needs to have a monster game on defense to give us a chance to give us our best chance of winning. We can win without it. I'm not saying it's all about Josh Allen, but him having that type of performance, he's our best defensive player right now.
And he's a little banged up still. You know, the
shoulder,
the right shoulder, and there was a moment in the game he had collided on the running back, and I believe it was Foye, Lucan. And you could see that Josh was really slow to get up, and he had that arm.
He squatted like a catcher stance.
Catcher stance, you know, and that right elbow was resting on that right thigh, and you could tell that it's not quite back yet.
Jeff, is that why he's rushing more from the right end?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You know, because you want to have the power on the inside
arm. Left hand. Yep.
By the way, Josh Allen, the Jaguars' Josh Allen in that game against the Bills, 2021. It was November 7th of that season at the bank. He had 8 tackles, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, an interception, and a fumble recovery.
Monster.
Pretty big football game.
Pretty big game.
If you had him in fantasy, because I guess you can have defensive players in fantasy now.
You can have defense players in fantasy? I thought just defenses.
I think there's some leagues.
There's some leagues we can do
players.
individual
Really?
defensive
I've
players.
not played those leagues.
Me either. Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Bills that day, 31 of 47, 264, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Bad day.
And he ran for 50 yards on 5 carries.
I mean, that's a bad day for him.
Yes.
Yeah, numbers like that would be great.
62.7 rating, by the way.
We need that. I mean, he is coming off a hot game. I'm glad they won.
Yes.
Because if they would have lost,
And I'm glad the Jaguars won.
Me too.
In the fashion that they did.
That's right. Not perfect, not pretty.
If they
but
watch
won.
the film tomorrow, because today they were off,
Yep,
tomorrow
that's
they
right.
watch the film, they're going to look at that game and go, gosh, we got to be better than this.
That's right.
But they're happy about the win. And so sometimes it's always good to be able to get lessons after a win. But it's really good to get lessons after a win that you sit there and when you really look at the film, you go, we got to be better than this week because we know that we've got a good football team coming in here.
Yeah.
Game coming up 2:30 London time, 9:30 a.m. Sunday, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The Jaguars' second visit to that facility, this time against the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills have been to London before. Of course, they played the Jaguars here in that epic ball game at Wembley. The Jaguars won that game in a back-and-forth affair, had a big lead, and then Blake Bortles threw some interceptions. The Bills rallied.
The throw that he had at the end of the game.
Alan Hearns.
Oh, man, what a play.
Got his elbow in.
What a play.
One elbow equals 2 feet.
That was one of the boat's greatest throw he's ever had.
It really was.
A lot of fun.
No doubt.
So let's hope it's not. Well, just win the game. I don't care how it happens. I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care if it's a barn burner and thrilling. Get another win. That's all you got to do.
Look, we had that conversation with Doug Peterson prior to the Kansas City game where he was openly talking about that game because of seeding reasons.
Yes.
Okay, well, if you're going to talk about it against Kansas City, that conversation still is in place for this game against the Buffalo Bills because they are viewed as one of the elite teams in the AFC. And if you're going to end up having some home games and you want home games, this is a game you want to win.
Yeah, I think I disagree with that, though, Jeff. I know what you're saying. If I'm Doug Peterson, I'm not talking about seedings, playoffs, or anything.
I'm not talking about either.
You got to play good football.
We can talk about it.
We can. We got to play good football and beat a good football team.
Jeff Lageman, Tony Boselli, thanks to our entire crew. I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks to you all for joining us.
Great job, guys. Thank you so much.
At the Pavilion Inn Pub, we'll be back on Wednesday for Huddle Up on Jaguars.com. This is Jaguars Happy Hour.